Millionaire's daughter appeared blind, shocking truth exposed by the maid at 3 a.m. It was a night as dark as a secret. The clock ticked closer to 3 in the morning when the air felt thick and heavy, shrouded in whispers of dread. In the lavish mansion sitting atop the hill, where chandeliers sparkled like fallen stars, a chilling discovery was about to unfold. To the outside world, Jennifer Hale was the epitome of grace and privilege. The daughter of one of the richest men in America, she glittered like gold among her peers. But tonight, she lay motionless on her silk sheets, her vision mysteriously stolen away, or perhaps, intentionally obscured. The maid, Emily, never imagined that restless night would unravel a twisted tale that would haunt her forever. Just minutes before, she had walked the cold marble halls, her heart racing. A silhouette at the window had made her pause, a shadowy figure, cloaked in the midnight darkness, whispering secrets that strummed at the edges of her sanity. The house, normally alive with laughter and echoes of luxury, was now a quiet prison for uneasy secrets. Something wasn't right. As Emily approached Jennifer's door, a sudden chill swept through the corridor, wrapping around her like ice. She pushed the door open and gasped. There was Jennifer, her once bright eyes now hidden behind a veil of darkness. She didn't just appear blind, it was as if she had chosen to shut out the world entirely. But why? The diamond-studded watch on the nightstand ticked mercilessly, reminding Emily of the truth lurking in the shadows. Creeping closer, the hairs on Emily's neck pricked with anticipation. She noticed a sticky note clutched in Jennifer's trembling hand, a note that screamed of desperation, filled with words that twisted into riddles. What was Jennifer trying to say? It was a cryptic warning or a plea for help. Emily's hands trembled as she reached for it, her heart pounding loud enough to drown out the silence. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. With bated breath, Emily unfolded the note, her eyes scanning the words. They revealed fragments of truth that painted a horrifying picture, a world of betrayal, deceit, and unspeakable horrors lurking just beneath the surface. Each letter etched into the paper felt like a pulse, quickening the urgency in the air. Who would do this to Jennifer? And why had no one noticed before? As the clock struck 3, a loud crash echoed through the house, shattering the quiet. Emily spun around, her heart racing. Fear gripped her like a vice, sweat trickling down her spine. The truth was unraveling, and she was standing at the edge. Would she dig deeper into the mysteries that plagued the Hale family, or was this where she'd stop, haunted by the ghosts of their secrets? In that moment, the dim light flickered, casting an eerie glow over the walls filled with portraits of happiness. The faces looked down upon her, but were they smiling, or were they warning her to turn back? What lay ahead was shrouded in darkness, a mystery wrapped in layers of deception that begged to be uncovered. Emily knew, she had to find out. Emily's heart raced as dread pulsed through her veins. The crash echoed through the house again, a thunderous reminder that she was not alone. With the note trembling in her hand, she felt as if it had ignited a spark she could no longer ignore. She turned back toward Jennifer, her eyes scanning the room for any sign of movement. The deeper into the night she ventured, the darker her fears became. What had happened in this room? The silence screamed questions that begged for answers. With a firm grip on the note, Emily stepped back. She needed to act fast. As she turned the doorknob, a knot twisted in her stomach. The world behind the door loomed heavy and full of uncertainty. She stepped outside, nearly tripping on a low, dark shadow that darted by her feet. She glanced down, but it vanished too quickly, just a trick of the light. Or something more sinister lurking in the corners of the mansion. Wandering down the dimly lit hallway, the haunting portraits seemed to watch her every move. She paused in front of one, an older woman with a stern expression, eyes glinting as if they held secrets of their own. Was this Jennifer's grandmother? The image stirred something in Emily's memory, awakening whispers of family tension that swirled around Jennifer. She moved on, pursuing the sound of a muffled voice that echoed faintly from the grand staircase. Curiosity propelled her forward, creeping down the elegant steps. The voice grew louder, distorted with urgency and fear. She pressed her back against the wall, peering down into the vast foyer. There stood Mr. Hale, Jennifer's father. He was pacing back and forth, his brow furrowed, a phone pressed tightly against his ear. She mustn't remember, he hissed, his voice low yet commanding. The words sliced through the tension. Who was he talking to? And what was Jennifer trying to forget? Emily held her breath, feeling the walls closing in on her. Images of wealth and privilege collapsed into a shadowy world filled with threats and desperation. The love that was always presented to the public now felt like a facade, cracking under the weight of deep, unseen chaos. Suddenly, the front door burst open with a bang. The wind howled into the house, swirling cold air around her ankles. Emily recoiled, her pulse quickening. She couldn't see who had entered, but a sense of dread curled in her stomach. Was it an ally or a foe? She pressed herself further into the shadows, gripping the note tightly. The urgency to find out what had happened surged within her. There was no turning back now that as Emily leaned in closer, she noticed movement. A figure clad in a dark coat slipped past Mr. Hale, their face concealed. A chill crawled up her spine, every instinct screaming for her to run. An invisible thread of fate wove her into this complicated tapestry, and she felt the world could unravel at any moment. What secrets did the figure hold? Was the connection to Jennifer's condition deeper than anyone imagined? In that moment, Emily faced a choice. A dangerous path lay ahead, but the pull of the truth was stronger than her fear. With tentative steps, she resolved to follow. She had to know, whatever it might cost her, and as she moved, whispered words echoed in her mind: find the girl, before it's too late. The urgency of that warning sent electric shocks through her heart. She could feel the walls closing in tighter, and as the shadows inched closer, the sense of a ticking clock filled the air. With each step deeper into the looming mystery, Emily knew the stakes were rising. Time was not her ally, and revelations were waiting to leap from the darkness. What awaited her beyond the threshold of truth? Would she be able to confront the horrors hidden beneath the veneer of opulence? The air was thick with the scent of secrets as Emily crept through the darkened foyer. The thrill of the unknown wrapped around her like a shroud, and dread pulsed in her chest like a warning drum. Every nerve in her body tingled with the fear of being discovered, yet the magnetic pull of the mystery drew her further toward the figure that had just entered. The room before her felt alive, shadows forming shapes that danced just out of reach of her sight. She couldn't shake the sensation that the walls held memories not meant for her ears. Through the crack between the door and the wall, she spied the stranger standing beside Mr. Hale, his posture rigid and tense. I have to know, she whispered to herself as she peered through the shadows. The man's face remained hidden, but the dim light reflected off dark sunglasses, giving him an ominous aura. Was he a friend of the family, or was he the embodiment of the danger her instincts warned her about? Mr. Hale gestured wildly, his voice rising in panic. It's too dangerous. The more she remembers, the closer she gets to the truth. He exclaimed, a hint of desperation sharpened his tone. Emily swallowed hard, every sound amplified in her ears. Her heart pounded as she leaned in closer. The fear of eavesdropping mixed with the urgency of the moment. She was stumbling upon something monumental. Listen, the man said, his voice low and threatening. The girl is compromised. If she starts to remember, there'll be no stopping what they'll do to protect their interests. We can't let her find out. Emily froze, blood running cold in her veins. Jennifer was in danger. But from what? The questions spiraled in her mind, and she felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. What if Jennifer had been trying to tell her something? A warning perhaps? Gathering her courage, Emily leaned further into the doorframe, ready to catch every word, each crucial detail that might shed light on the ominous situation. But just then, a whispering rush of air caused her heart to leap. The figure in dark glasses turned. "Someone's listening," he hissed, scanning the room with a predatory gaze. Emily's breath caught. She stumbled back, her heart thundering wildly against her ribs like a trapped bird. Panic surged through her. If he found her, all would be lost. She darted to the side, seeking refuge behind a large potted plant, its leaves rustling softly as she pressed against it. Just as she reclaimed her breath, the unmistakable sound of footsteps approached. "Check the hall," Mr. Hale instructed, fear lacing his voice. Emily's heart raced, and she felt the crushing weight of time ticking down. She pressed her body into the plant, willing herself to be invisible. The footsteps grew louder, echoing through the vast space like a drumroll to her doom. What if they found her? The figure stopped just outside her hiding place, hovering in the threshold of her sanctuary. Emily's pulse hammered in her ears, the silence now suffocating. What did they want? Why were they so desperate to silence Jennifer? Her mind reeled with possibilities and fear tightened around her throat like a noose. "Nothing here," the figure muttered dismissively, stepping back. Emily let out a breath she didn't realize she was holding. For a heartbeat, she thought of fleeing back upstairs, but duty tethered her. What truth lay waiting beneath layers of deception? Was there still time to save Jennifer? The figure and Mr. Hale retreated back into the shadows, but their words echoed in her mind like a siren's call. Before she remembers. Emily's resolve hardened. There might be little time left for Jennifer. Igniting her own courage, she slipped quietly from her hiding place, determined to discover the truth lurking in her friend's fractured memories. As she turned to venture deeper into the hidden heart of the mansion, she felt an unseen force guide her, urging her forward into the unknown. But with every step, the mounting dread of unforeseen dangers crept closer. Might she unearth something that could unravel everything she thought she knew? The darkness loomed ahead, and with it, the promise of both the truth and the threat of horror. What new revelations lay waiting for Emily? And when the truth finally surfaced, would she be ready to confront what she found? The shadows wrapped tighter around Emily as she ventured deeper into the mansion. The air grew colder, a palpable chill that seeped into her bones. Each step was a calculated risk. What lay ahead? Danger? Truth? Or both? She wound through the dimly lit hallway, the grand portraits on the wall watching her with narrowed eyes, their hollow gazes suggesting that perhaps they had witnessed the darkness that infused the space. Past the ornate silver handles and dark oak doors, she paused at each one, listening intently. How many secrets had this house buried? Suddenly, the whisper of movement snapped her attention. From somewhere nearby, a creak echoed the floorboard's groan, insistent and jarring. She ducked behind a heavy curtain, feeling the fabric brush against her cheek like a warning. The seconds ticked away painfully slow as she steadied her breath, body rigid with tension. "Did you hear that?" A voice suddenly broke through the silence. It was the stranger, his tone sharp and dangerous. "Something's off." "Just the wind, I swear," Mr. Hale replied, though his quavering voice betrayed him. Emily clenched her fists, ready to bolt if needed. She needed to keep moving, to find Jennifer before it was too late. Ignoring the urge to turn back, she crept forward, her heart thudding in rhythm with her racing thoughts. She couldn't let fear paralyze her. The door to her left was slightly ajar, a faint light escaping through the gap. Drawing closer, she could just make out voices. Curiosity piqued, she cast a cautious glance inside. To her shock, it was a small study lined with bookshelves. But focus, Emily. She couldn't get distracted. Pushing the door open a fraction more, she peered into the room. A low table sat in the center, papers strewn across it. Maps? No, photographs, some of them smudged with fingerprints, some eerily familiar. She held her breath, recognizing one. It featured Jennifer, standing in front of the mansion, smiling blissfully. But darkness loomed behind her, two shadowy figures stalking close, their faces obscured. "This isn't over," said the man with the sunglasses, his voice dangerously low. "They'll come for her. We can't let her slip away." Panic surged through Emily. They were planning something catastrophic. She needed to act, but fear twisted in her gut. Was it already too late? Just then, the door rattled, and Emily flung herself back, narrowly missing being seen. The door creaked open wider, and she held her breath, willing her heartbeat to slow. Mr. Hale stepped inside, his eyes darting nervously. "No more discussions. Let us deal with her now," he urged. Emily's heart dropped. They were preparing to confront Jennifer, whatever that might mean. The fragile bond of friendship threatened to splinter under the weight of hidden truths and looming threats. Without thinking, she slipped down the hall, seeking another way. She had to warn Jennifer. Rounding a corner, she spotted a staircase leading to the upper floors, perhaps a shortcut to where she believed Jennifer was hiding. As she ascended, the stairs creaked ominously beneath her feet, each step amplifying her sense of foreboding. What if they caught her? What if she was too late? Arriving on the second floor, Emily paused to gather herself, peering down the narrow hall lined with closed doors. She could feel it, an energy, almost tangible, seeping from behind one of them. Perhaps whoever was in there was seeking help too. The weight of urgency pressed upon her. Would she risk it all by knocking? She raised her hand, trembling slightly, poised to knock when a voice echoed down the hall, low and wary yet unmistakable. "Emily, is that you?" It was Jennifer, and her voice rang clear in the oppressive silence. Emily felt the surge of hope, but she knew nothing could be simple. In that moment, she realized the depths of the situation they were in. The truth was about to burst forth. But would it free them, or shackle them forever? With heart pounding, she whispered back, "I'm coming." As she reached for the doorknob, dread crept over her again. What if the truth was too much to bear? What would it reveal about their friendship? The door swung open, and all the air rushed out of Emily's lungs as she stepped into the room, ready to face the unknown. But who stood behind that door? Would it be the friend she knew, or something darker waiting to come into the light? The door creaked open, and Emily was met with a sight that sent her heart racing. Jennifer stood in the middle of the room, her expression clouded with confusion, but the immediate relief of seeing her friend quickly turned to panic as Emily noticed the dark shadows crowding the space behind her. "Emily!" Jennifer whispered anxiously, eyes darting. "You shouldn't be here. They're looking for you." "What are you talking about?" Emily asked, stepping inside and shutting the door quickly behind her. The heavy thud resonated like a heartbeat. "Who's looking for me? What's happening, Jen?" As the door closed, a tense silence filled the room, amplifying the whisper of their breaths. Jennifer backed away from the shadows, revealing a cluttered space that seemed to vibrate with tension. Papers lay strewn across a table, and an old trunk sat in the corner, its lock rusted but unbroken, as if guarding its secrets. "They're getting desperate," Jennifer shot back, mistrust pooling in her eyes. "Mr. Hale, it's him and that man." She pointed to a shadow lurking just beyond the doorway, a figure too tall, too still. Emily's stomach clenched. Panic threaded through the air. "We don't have time for this. Our safety comes first. We need to." Before she could finish, thunderous footsteps echoed down the hallway. The ground shook slightly, and Emily felt the walls closing in. It was them. They were coming. "Quick! Hide!" Emily hissed, pushing Jennifer toward the trunk. "Get in." "No. I'm not running. Not anymore." Jennifer's voice trembled with indignation. "I need to face this. I need to know the truth. You don't understand." Shoo. Jennifer pressed a finger to her lips, imploring Emily to silence. "Listen." The footsteps grew louder, mingling with Emily's racing heartbeat. They weren't just approaching, they were hunting. The doorknob rattled violently, the wood splintering under the pressure. Emily's mind raced. Should she fight? Run? She cursed the confines of this mansion and the power it held over them. With a deep breath, she turned to Jennifer. We need to stick together. Whatever is about to happen, she hesitated, we face it together. But before she could underline her determination, the door burst open, revealing Mr. Hale, his eyes alight with fury and fear. The stranger shadowed him, a menacing smirk playing on his lips. Found you, Hale sneered, taking a step closer. Jennifer's eyes widened. What do you want? We're cutting the games, the stranger growled, and there was a sharp, deadly edge to his tone. Now. Emily felt a wave of nausea hit her as she realized the weight of the situation. You don't have to do this. Whatever it is you think you want from us, it's not us you need to worry about, Hale interrupted, advancing. It's what Jennifer knows, what she has hidden from everyone, even you. The betrayal sunk deep. Emily staggered back. What do you mean hidden? Jennifer's face turned pale, eyes filled with something darker than fear. Stay back, Emily. I can handle this, just promise me you won't intervene. But promise me. Jennifer's voice was strong, cutting through the chaos. The air felt electric as the tension thickened. Emily hesitated, the desperation clawing at her heart. Was this friendship worth risking everything for? The answer tightened like a noose around her throat. As Hale lunged forward, time froze. Emily had to choose. What was she willing to sacrifice? The shadows were deepening, secrets threatening to spill over, and the darkness within this mansion was only the beginning. Whatever happens next, it's on me, Jennifer whispered, resolute. Emily took a small step forward, despair flooding her. What have you done? The walls of the mansion reverberated with impending chaos, the truth coiling like a serpent just waiting to strike. And in that moment, as her world flipped upside down, Emily understood. This was the moment that would define them all. But what would she uncover at the very heart of the darkness? Or would she finally lose the one person she couldn't afford to lose? In a flash, the chaotic air snapped. Emily's heart raced as Hale lunged, his hand reaching for Jennifer. Time seemed to stretch, each second resonating in her ears like a metronome pounding down the countdown to catastrophe. But before the inevitable collided with reality, Jennifer stepped forward. You misunderstand, Hale. Her voice rang out, unyielding. You don't know everything. Emily stayed rooted, her mind fighting against the need to spring into action. Inside her, an avalanche of fear amplified desperation. She had to face Hale's anger alone, yet the weight of his presence felt suffocating. What's there to know? Hale sneered, pausing mid-lunge, thin lips twisting into a smile that sparked unease deep within Emily. I assure you, the time for discoveries is over. You can't take her. Jennifer's defiance flashed fiercely. You think I'm just some pawn in your little game? What I've hidden isn't just about me. It's bigger than you can fathom. What a nice last stand you're trying to put on, Hale mocked, but he had faltered, just slightly, fear flickering in his eyes. Emily sensed the shift. She took a step toward Jennifer. What does he mean, Jen? What are you hiding? The air crackled, tension coiling around them like a spring, ready to snap. But Jennifer's face was locked tight, the turmoil beneath her calm surface spilling over into an urgent, desperate whisper. You don't need to know, the stranger, lurking silently behind Hale, interjected. We all know a little secrecy can lead to turmoil. Isn't that right, Jennifer? His voice cut through the air, smooth yet dripping with malice. Emily swallowed hard. What is that supposed to mean? Enough. Hale barked. If you won't willingly divulge the truth, I'll just have to extract it myself. His eyes sharpened, glinting like daggers. Before Emily could scream a warning, Hale shot forward. She instinctively leapt between them, heart pounding so loud it drowned out the world around her. Chase or strike? She didn't know how to act without risking them both. Stop! Emily shouted, hands raised, palms facing Hale. This isn't the way to settle anything. In an instant, everything exploded. Jennifer moved lightning fast, reaching for the trunk with trembling hands. "We have to open it," she gasped, fumbling with the rusted lock. "It's the only way." "Don't!" Hale roared. He lunged, but Emily was quick on her feet, grabbing a nearby book and throwing it at him. It caught him off guard, a perfect distraction. Time shifted, and Emily felt the pulse of urgency intensify. The trunk's lock clicked under Jennifer's frantic efforts. The stranger's smirk fell. "You think that will save you? Open it and you may wish you hadn't." But Jennifer's resolve had hardened. "I'm tired of hiding. All secrets come to light eventually." With a final forceful tug, the trunk gave way, creaking open to reveal a trove of hidden documents and faded photographs. Their contents gleamed in the dim light, whispering conspiracies that had long festered in darkness. "What is this?" Emily gasped, fear wrapped tightly around her throat. Hale's eyes widened with both shock and fury. "No. You can't," but it was too late. As Jennifer reached in, the truth began to emerge, revealing just how intertwined their lives truly were. Shadows danced in the corners of the room, and Emily's heart pounded. Did they really want the secret to spill? The atmosphere churned thick with uncertainty. "Whatever is in there could change everything," Hale warned, venom dripping from his voice. "We'll see." Jennifer breathed, pulling out the first of many sordid revelations. Emily felt a knot tighten in her stomach. As the atmosphere thickened with secrets ready to erupt, she sensed that dawning realization could ignite something catastrophic, and then Jennifer looked up, eyes wide. "Emily, if this is what I think it means, we're not just fighting for our lives. We're fighting for our fate." With hope dwindling and doubt looming large, Emily couldn't help but wonder, had they opened Pandora's box? What would happen when the truth finally unleashed itself? Emily's breath hitched as Jennifer pulled a photograph from the trunk, her hands trembling. The edges were worn and yellowed, revealing the faint image of a family, a woman, a man, and a child who could be no older than 5. The child's eyes stared out from the picture, wide and innocent, yet there was something unsettling about the warmth of their smile, as if the photo was a veneer over a darker truth. "Is that?" Emily started, but words eluded her. "It's me," Jennifer whispered, her eyes glazed with emotion. "And that's my father. We were so happy back then." Hale's expression shifted from fury to bewilderment. "You're lying. He's not your father." Jennifer shook her head violently, dismissing Hale's disbelief. "You think you know everything? I found these last year. I was searching for who I really was." She glanced at Emily, her voice gaining strength. "This doesn't just affect me, it's a part of you too." Emily frowned, confusion clouding her mind as she tried to connect the fraying threads of their stories. "What do you mean?" "Emily, the family in this picture isn't just mine." Jennifer hesitated, her breath quickening. "They're yours too." A chill crept down Emily's spine. All her life, she had felt like an outsider, piecing together fragments of a past that always felt just out of reach. "What are you saying?" Before Jennifer could respond, Hale's laughter erupted, sharp and mocking. "What a desperate act, claiming family ties to avoid your fate. Just unravel the truth, Jennifer." "I can help you help." Jennifer interjected bitterly. "You want to bury it. But we're not afraid anymore." The atmosphere crackled with tension. The stranger pushed himself to the front, eyes darting between Jennifer and Hale. "This isn't just a family photo, it's a time bomb." His voice oozed intrigue and danger. Emily glanced back at Jennifer, desperation flaring like a beacon. "What do we do? Do we confront him? Fight him?" "We can't go back now," Jennifer replied firmly, clutching the photo to her chest. "We need to find out what this all means before he can stop us." Hale took a step forward, rage coursing through him. "You think this changes anything? You're walking a tightrope." Pull that thread, and I will show you what real darkness looks like. Instinctively, Emily moved closer to Jennifer, forming a barrier of sisterhood and solidarity. Her mind raced. The stakes were monumental now. Jennifer was not just stepping forward to confront horrors, she was inviting Emily into an abyss of secrets. Let us just think for a second, Emily pleaded. If there's even a chance that Hale is telling the truth, what will we find out? But Hale's voice cut through her hesitation like a knife. Nothing but shame, Emily. You want to open a door? Fine. But prepare for what may come rushing back through it. Before Emily could formulate a response, Jennifer thrust the photograph into Emily's hands, eyes blazing with determination. We can't be afraid of this. The moment of truth is here. Time slowed. Emily stared down at the image, dread mixing with the warmth of uncharted hope. What if this photograph was a key? A catalyst to understanding their intertwined past. We need to act now, Jennifer urged, breathing heavily. Whatever darkness is out there, we have to face it together. The confrontation grew palpable, the air thick with unspoken fears and secrets clamoring for liberation. But just as tension reached a breaking point, the lights flickered ominously, crackling like wild flames about to consume everything in sight. That's just the start, Hale sneered, a gleam of madness dancing in his eyes. Emily's pulse raced, an instinctual urge to flee clawing at her gut, but she gripped the photograph harder, the edges pressing into her palm. They had come too far to turn back now. As the room plunged into darkness, a chilling whisper echoed. Was it a voice or a scream? In the shadows lies the truth. A new sense of urgency filled the air. Could they handle the truth waiting to be unleashed, or would it tear them apart? With the world collapsing around them, the question lingered, what horrors awaited them once they crossed the threshold of revelation? The room swirled with darkness, jagged shadows looming like specters. Emily's heart thudded against her ribs as she clutched the photograph, its edges biting into her wrist. A wave of panic surged through her. What if she was standing at the edge of an eerie precipice, grappling with a truth that could swallow her whole? Stay close, Jennifer hissed, her voice sharp, breaking through the encroaching dread. Where is he? Emily breathed, scanning the murky void, every sound amplified in the thick silence. The echo of Hale's malicious laughter still reverberated in her ears, pressing down like a weight. Before they could gather their thoughts, something shifted in the shadows. A faint flicker of light emerged, revealing Hale, his figure distorted and menacing. You think you can take control? You're just children playing with matches. His taunts hung in the air, venomous and chilling. But we have to try. Jennifer shouted, her passion igniting the dark. We won't let you dictate our lives anymore. The flickering light steadied, and their surroundings began to materialize. They were in a dimly lit room, surrounded by remnants of forgotten memories, dusty furniture and cracked mirrors reflecting distorted images. In this seemingly abandoned place, secrets whispered from the walls. Emily felt at the pulse of something alive, a history laden with pain and mystery. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the room, causing Emily to jump, pressing closer to Jennifer. What was that? Don't look away. Hale bellowed, his madness spilling into the space, his silhouette darting through the gloom. The truth isn't a kind thing. It bites back. As he spoke, the air grew colder, and Emily could feel a frigid draft encircle her, as if the room itself was exhaling a terrible secret. We need to know who we're dealing with. She shouted at Jennifer, her voice laced with urgency. I'll follow your lead, Jennifer replied, determination restoring some fire in her eyes. Let us confront him. Together. Just then, the walls reverberated with a low, ominous hum, and shadows flickered like restless spirits. An ethereal light began to pulse from the photograph, illuminating their faces. What is this? Emily gasped, awestruck, as the picture seemed to come alive, images shifting within the framed eye and the eerie glow. She recognized the woman from the photograph, her eyes now filled with sorrow and unearthly wisdom. It was as if the image yearned to bridge the chasm of time and silence. The truth is shrouded, the woman's voice whispered through the air, but it is yours to uncover. Emily's heart raced, desperate to understand. What are you trying to show us? With every heartbeat, the shadows began to whirl, drawing in the energy like a vortex, threatening to consume everything. No. We need to fight this. Hale shrieked, a wild grin spreading across his face. Show them, entities of the past. Show them what their lives are meant to be. Emily felt a surge of fear. Was Hale trying to manipulate them? The photograph pulsed brighter, revealing glimpses of the past moments both tender and torturous, laughter mingled with shouts, warmth intertwined with despair. Focus! Jennifer shouted, gripping Emily's arm. If these are our memories, we need to face them. Hale lunged forward, a twisted fury displayed on his face, the promise of chaos swirling around him. You'll regret this. The truth is a monster, and I hold the leash. With a burst of courage, Emily stepped forward, the photograph glowing fiercely in her grasp. Then let the leash break. She declared, thrusting the picture toward the shadows, her voice carrying the weight of newfound resolve. As the photograph flared, the room trembled, the air thickening with energy. Shadows writhed and moaned, and a blinding light enveloped them, casting Hale's form into obscurity, but just as the light reached its zenith, a sudden crash shattered their focus. The room quaked, and an unearthly scream sliced through the air, sending chills racing down Emily's spine. What had they unwittingly unleashed? The moment hung violently, heavy with unanswered questions. Would they awaken the monstrous truth of their entangled past, or would it consume them entirely in the frenzy of revelation? The room erupted into chaos. The scream reverberated against the walls, sharp and piercing. Emily's breath hitched, and she felt the weight of dread settling on her chest like a leaden blanket. The light from the photograph flared bright for a moment, almost blinding. As the shadows recoiled, Emily saw something new, someone rushing toward them from the far corner. Emily. Jen. A familiar voice shattered the dark, cutting through the haze of terror. It was Nina, her friend and ally, dashing into the light, her face taut with fear. Nina. Emily gasped, relief flooding her veins. But, as quickly as the relief came, it was overshadowed by anxiety. What are you doing here? You have to get out. No. I can't leave you. She shouted back, urgency lacing her words. I heard the crash. I had to come. But before they could respond, Hale's shadowy figure re-emerged, swirling with rage. You thought you could escape, didn't he? He sneered. You're trapped in my web now. All of you. With a flick of his wrist, the shadows lunged forward again, dark tendrils snaking toward them, as if to ensnare their hope. The room shook with the fury of long-buried secrets unleashed, and the air exploded with a cacophony of screams, ancient souls crying out for release. Emily felt the walls closing in on her, each breath becoming harder to take. We need to stand together, she panted, gripping the photograph tighter, her knuckles turning white. This is our truth. We can't let him control us. The photograph pulsed again, and a feeling of warmth surged through her. This wasn't just a memory, it was a key to their past, to their futures. Summoning every ounce of courage, Emily shouted, "Show us everything." In response, the shadows thrashed violently. Hale's face twisted in desperation, as the light spilled over the room, illuminating dark corners and revealing horrors hidden for far too long. The whispers grew louder, merging into a haunting chorus that spoke of betrayal, loss, and unspoken hopes. Nina, trembling by Emily's side, gasped in recognition as a fleeting image flickered within the glow. A depiction of their shared childhood flashed before them, a scene so familiar yet tangled in sorrow. They saw themselves as children, playing in a meadow, laughter echoing like sweet music. But then the image shifted and darkened, morphing into something grotesque, a figure lurking just outside their laughter, sharply silhouetted against the sunset. It's him! Emily cried, pointing toward the figure. Hale. He's the one. He's always been. Jennifer's eyes widened as she grasped Emily's hand, determination seeping back. If we know him, we can break his hold. But we must confront him. The shadows writhed around Hale, restless and furious, as if they felt the power shifting. You are nothing without me. He roared, his voice echoing like thunder. I control your fate. You are just fragments of a past meant to be forgotten. Not anymore. Emily shouted, her voice surging with newfound strength. We choose to remember. We choose to fight. With that declaration, a spark ignited within the photograph, sending a shockwave that surged through the room. The blinding light expanded, engulfing Hale and the shadows, pushing them back into the depths of despair that birthed them. The scream of the tortured souls around them began to fade, blending into a soft hum of relief, but as the light washed over them, a sudden darkness followed. You think this is over? Hale's voice echoed from the swirling shadows. You've only scratched the surface. The real nightmare is yet to come. As the last remnants of his presence faded, Emily felt her limbs tremble. What awaited them in the aftermath? The shadows still lingered, watching and waiting. In the wake of the storm, reality settled heavily upon their shoulders. They felt vulnerable, raw. The photograph dimmed, its glow fading into an unsettling silence, leaving them aware of just how precarious their situation was. What other truths lurked in the dark? What would they have to face to truly break free? The haunting question lingered in the air. Like a bitter reminder of the battles yet to come. The air in the dim room felt charged, crackling with tension. Emily, Jennifer, and Nina stood together, their hearts pounding as remnants of Hale's dark presence swirled around them. The shadows had retreated, but a deep, unsettling chill hung in the air. What just happened? Nina whispered, her voice barely a tremor above the silence. Where's Hale? Emily clenched the photograph, feeling the warmth seep through her fingers. He's gone, but not for good. He's right, we've only scratched the surface. The weight of those words settled like a stone in her gut. Jennifer glanced around the room, where shadows still hovered like memories refusing to let go. We need to find out the truth. Everything he hid, everything he took from us, it's all connected. Nina nodded, her chest rising and falling with quick breaths. But how? We don't even know where to start. Jennifer's eyes narrowed, gathering focus. The trunk. There's more in there. We have to sift through it. They turned toward the old trunk, its lock broken, a portal to the secrets confined within. Together, they approached, apprehension laced with determination filling the space. As they began to pull out faded photographs and crinkled papers, the images came alive with haunting tales. Emily's chest tightened further at the sight of joyful family gatherings overshadowed by dark moments, distant shadows lurking in the background. One photograph caught Jennifer's eye, a group photo with the same smiling faces from before, but now she noticed something. Look! That man in the corner, is that Hale? The image flickered with a darkness barely contained, unveiling the true nature of their life. Emily grabbed another piece of paper, a letter stained with age, the ink running like tears. As she read aloud, the words twisted her heart, telling a story of betrayal and loss, of a family torn apart by a man obsessed with power. They learned of deals made behind closed doors, a clandestine pact that had allowed Hale to control not just their family but their destinies. Is it true? Could he? Emily's voice trailed, unable to finish the thought. Everything, Jennifer whispered, fear mingling with disbelief. He orchestrated it all. But we can change this. We can expose it. A flame of resolution ignited within Emily. We take this evidence to the police. They'll listen, this is beyond us. But we need to prepare for what's coming, Nina chimed. Hale won't like this. Then we won't give him a chance, Jennifer said, stealing her expression. This ends tonight. As they sorted through the trunk, their determination solidified, a bond forming between the three that felt unbreakable. They would not let their past haunt them any longer. They would fight for their future. Just as they finished compiling the evidence, the room shivered, and a shadow crept back in. The atmosphere thickened like the calm before a storm. Hale's voice echoed, cold and taunting. "You think you can expose me? You're in over your heads." They glared at the darkness, hearts pounding, yet resolve unyielding. "We're not afraid of you," Jennifer shouted, raw courage pulsing through her veins. "Then let us see how far that bravery takes you." No sooner had Hale's words left his lips than the air erupted around them. The shadows twisted and spiraled, coming alive, lashing out like wild vipers. "Now!" Emily screamed, grabbing the photograph and thrusting it toward the shadows. "We expose the truth." In that instant, a blinding light erupted from the picture, illuminating the darkness. The shadows recoiled, shrieking in confusion and pain as the truths of the past spilled forward, washing over them like a tide that could not be stopped. Hale screamed, his form flickering, as the truths they uncovered formed an invisible barrier. "No! You cannot bind me like this." With the image pulsing in her hands, Emily felt an overwhelming rush of power and purpose. "We are more than mere shadows. We are the truth, and we stand together." As light burst forth, illuminating the haunted corners of the room, the shadows shrieked and fell apart, disintegrating into nothingness. Hale's last cry echoed, filled with rage and despair as he vanished, swallowed by the very darkness that had once enveloped them. Silence fell, the room was still, the evidence scattered but imbued with hope now rather than fear. "Did we do it?" Nina breathlessly asked, disbelief shimmering in her eyes. Jennifer turned to her, a soft smile breaking through. "We did, and we will keep doing it. We're stronger than he ever was." This was their moment. Not just for themselves but for all those who had been caught in Hale's web. They would reclaim their lives and futures. As they gathered the remaining evidence, Emily knew this was just the beginning. There would be challenges, but she felt ready to face them, knowing they would stand united. They stepped out into the light of a new dawn, the shadows behind them finally lifting as they reported the truth to the authorities. The weight of the past began to ease, replaced by hope and the promise of brighter days ahead. They were free, and as they walked side by side, the path to healing began to unfold before them. They were no longer defined by their past but empowered by their courage to confront it. They had broken the cycle, and now, a new chapter awaited. Don't let this moment slip away. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this epic conclusion. And you must share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible ending. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second.